Hello? It's Friday. How you guys doing? Ah, good. We are indeed live. Ooh, I forgot to put my sound thingamajabber up. Give me a second here. I gotta put that up. This thing right here. It's a piece of... Oh, God. It's insulation sheathing with sound panels attached to it, and I put it up over here to help control my sound, give me a little bit better sound quality for you guys. There we go. Okay. Forgot to do that. Poll, if you want to, I'm watching the chat, so if you want to say something to me directly, you can just put it in the chat, but if you at me, I should definitely see that. Nice hat. Yeah. I've had this hat for like, maybe, this hat is like 40 years old, probably, or more. It's old. I love this hat though. It's like it used to be my regular winter cap, and then it's got this tear in it, so I stopped wearing it because I don't want to wreck it. But I still like wearing it because, you know, it's a little bit of flair. Plus it keeps my head warm, which is the most important thing. So we got the gang is all here so far. We got Poles here, and Michael, and Harley, and Tim, and Mike, and Robert. Hello, Robert, and hello, Ashok. Yes, get out there and take some damn photos. I did that in Las Vegas. I don't want to, well, I do want, I want to show you guys the pictures, but I kind of don't, but I'm going to, I think. Hello, Sandy. Hi, Shane. Hello, everybody. How's your week been? What's been happening? I was in WPPI this week, and I had a good time, and I met some people. Some cool stuff happened, so I wanted to share with you guys what happened while I was in Las Vegas, show you some of the pictures. But here's the crazy thing. Let me show you, I did not shoot very much at all. Now, granted, I was only in Las Vegas for one, full day. I was there, I flew in Tuesday. I was supposed to fly in earlier, but we had this ridiculous storm here in Wisconsin. So I gotta tell you guys all about that. But tell me, in the chat, tell me, what have you guys been up to this week? How have you been? And let me show you the photos. So what I shot while I was in Las Vegas were my low angle shots for Monday. Hey, Mark. Hello, Jason. How you guys doing? So also, in the chat, I want to know from you guys, who's got their low angle photo all set to go? I don't want to see it yet. That's for Monday. But who's got their low angle photo all set to go? I have echo. What are we getting echo from? Sorry about that. I had my sound all goofed up. Change audio. Hold it. There. That should be better. Is the audio better? Much better. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So you just got a whole lot of echo from me. Sorry about that. Took a couple shots. We got, Pole said yes. Better. Okay, excellent. So let me show you the before and the after. So actually we'll do this just so that I can show them to you side by side. Boom. This here, haven't taken low angle shots, plan to this weekend. So this is one of my low angle shots right here. I shot two different photos, but I'm really happy with this one. But I gotta show you guys this edit too. Look at all these layers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, a ton. I did a ton of cleanup in this image. So let me back it off and show you all the stuff, all these layers, so many layers. Actually, this would be way easier if I just turned the groups on and off. That was silly of me. Let me turn all these back on. Haha, silly me. There we go, okay. So a ton of cleanup in this image. Nice colors. Thank you very much. So I shot this down at Fremont Street in Las Vegas. So if you're not familiar with Las Vegas, and I'm not that's only my second time being there, so I'm not a Vegas expert, but this is the old Vegas Strip. Now this part of it is like newer anyway, but I wanted to go shoot down here for my low angle photo. And in the photo here, we have Aaron and Kylie modeling for me. And they're wearing these vintage outfits that Kylie styled them in. Aaron did their hair and makeup. And yeah, the downtown area, exactly. And I like this part of Vegas way more than like the new strip where like Mandalay Bay and the Luxor and all of those other, the Bellagio, whatever, where all those other hotels and casinos are. Because all of them just want to keep you inside so that you're still gambling and spending money. Whereas down on Fremont Street, like being outside and walking around and whatnot is kind of the point. So anyway, this is the original shot. You can see I cleaned up a ton of stuff in it. I just wanted to run over this edit with you guys real quick before I actually start editing another photo. So let me show you some of the crap that I cleaned up, because there's just so much. Let me just throw another layer in here. You'll see it when I turn the other layer on and off too. But turn the flow up, turn the hardness up. All right, so what did I get rid of? These things right here. What is going on already? I can't draw on my image. Brush, width. Oh, there we go. That protect alpha always screws me up. Okay, the downtown. Yeah, hello Ultra MUC. How's it going? How's it going in Munich? Can you tell us the camera settings for that photo? Yes, I can absolutely tell you the camera settings for this photo. Let me pop over to Lightroom. You'll see one bit of metadata missing from this, and I'll explain why. So this here is the photograph, and if we go over to the information panel, you should be able to see. It might be pretty small, but why is it not telling me all of my metadata? Oh, here we go. It was a 2-second long exposure, and I shot this at ISO 200. Now, I did that on purpose because this whole area up here is like a whole giant thing of LED or some other kind of light. And they have like a light show constantly moving on that dome of light, and I wanted that as the backdrop behind them, but I didn't want to like freeze the lighting in place. I wanted to give it a longer exposure to let that all move through the frame over time to create that sort of a look, which basically just makes it look like one solid color. And that helped provide a lot of that ambient light and ambient color atmosphere to the photo. So this was 2 seconds long. And it was a balance there because I wanted this a longer exposure, but 2 seconds is a long time for them to hold their pose. So I needed something that was short enough that they could not move in 2 seconds, you know, in the shutter speed, but long enough that I could get that blur. So Ashok, you've got a question. This is why you should never meet your heroes. I refuse to believe that image is straight out of the camera. So, well, this image right here, this is straight out of the camera with the raw edits. So let me just show you what it looked like 100% straight out of the camera. Let me reset the edits. That will take off all of the adjustments. So this is what it looks like 100% straight out of the camera. 2 seconds long. I have ambient light and I'm using a flash. You can see the flash right here up in the corner. You can also see half of somebody's head or a quarter or something, right? So a 2 second exposure. How did the model stay frozen? Here's how that worked, Ashok. They did move. I'm sure they moved like a little teeny tiny bit because 2 seconds is hard for you to stay frozen. But because of the flash freezes them in the frame by lighting them up and essentially covering up any movement that would show up. If the movement is extreme, they'll still show up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to switch over to one of the other photos that I shot. It'll just be easier to scroll through and see. Like here's one right here. Here the flash went off. You can still see the flash over here in the corner. Let me get this back. Go away. I want this side panel to go away. There we go. right? You can still see the flash over here in the corner, but Erin moved her head quite a bit. And so you can see where the flash hit her and froze her in place, but you can also see her head was tilted this way first, and then she tilted it over here, and so you can see that motion. You can also see a little bit of motion in Kylie's face. So if they move too much, it'll still show up. But if you get it set just right and they hold still enough, the flash will freeze them nicely in the shot. And then the rest of the exposure happens over the time to capture all of the ambient light that you're trying to capture. It is first curtain sync. I didn't change it to second curtain sync. Do I remember the f-stop? Yes, I did. Now, the reason the f-stop wasn't showing in the info panel here is because I was using my manual 8mm fisheye lens, which I use. It's actually a Canon mount lens. It's a Bauer fisheye. I can show you guys which lens it is if you're interested. In fact, let me just bring it up right here. Bauer 8mm fisheye. There it is right there. So I'll just go to, here we go, Amazon. This is the lens that this is the Nikon mount. I have the Canon mount, right? But this is the lens that I was using. It's an 8mm f3.5. Now I have an adapter for putting it on my Micro Four Thirds cameras. And I keep pointing because it's actually the lens that I am using for the live streams that I do here when we do Photoblab and when I edit. So that was set to a aperture. I had it a small-ish aperture because I was trying to balance that ambient light, and it's actually surprisingly bright with all of those LEDs and whatnot and all of the street lights. So this was at f8 when I took the photo. Might have been f11. I'm pretty sure it's f8, but it was somewhere in that neighborhood. When I pulled it out of my bag after having shot, I had spun the ring and it was set to f22, so I couldn't look at it and say for 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was f8 or f11. Thanks for the explanation. Wouldn't it be easy with the second curtain so no movement captured? Also, the pic with the blurred head actually looked good. I do like the picture with the blurred head. It doesn't look like a fisheye for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's on a Micro Four Thirds camera, and that 2x crop actually diminishes the fisheye look a little bit. It looks way more extreme as a fisheye on a larger image sensor. The secondary reason is because, you know, the frame that you guys see on the screen, I'm looking at that over here, that's why I'm pointing over there, is cropped off to mostly in the middle. Like you can see, this is, if I put my hands out over here, on the camera, I can actually still see them. But you can see I've got the image cropped basically towards the center, which shows you like the best portion of the image. Yeah, so that's, yeah, thank you for the explanation. The blurred head, I actually don't mind it. You're right that if I had shot this at second curtain sync, that probably would have made it a little easier to avoid the motion. But I honestly, one, didn't think of it at the time, and two, I was kind of in a hurry because I shot this, what was it, Wednesday night? By the way, let me undo this back so that my, can I undo it back? Whoops, I'm in the wrong. I want to undo the fact that I took away all of the edits. No, that's right. I've got a preset that I made for when I took away the edits anyway. There we go. So that's back. That's the editing that I did here in Lightroom. And if you want to see what I did, it's pretty straightforward. So I did an exposure adjustment. I did a contrast adjustment. I did quite a bit of highlight recovery. And then I brought up the shadows to plus 57. So this is the basic kind of stuff I do here in Lightroom. And then color, I wanted to embrace the color. So I messed around with the tint a little bit. You can see it's at plus 27. Just trying to bring out this color aesthetic that I was going for. I added some more magenta, kind of purple to it. And then I took the vibrance up to plus 10 and the saturation up to plus 4. And then added some clarity and then did my sharpening. So this is before, and this is after. And then I took it into Affinity Photo. And here in Affinity Photo, I did a lot of removal, like I said. So let me show you some of the stuff that I've removed. There we go. Okay, so what's some of the stuff that I removed here? There was a bunch of crap that I removed here. Just making my thing. So like this whole thing right here. Oh, come on. What is going on here today with this app? Oh, that's why. Stupid thing. Okay, I had it inside the group on accident. All right, so this whole thing right here, I removed because I found it distracting. I removed this here. Obviously, I removed that. Over here, I did a ton of work too. This whole thing I removed, along with all of this. And then these people down here, I removed them as well because I found them distracting. So quite a bit of removal. It took me quite a bit of work to do that. So let me turn this layer off and then turn on and off the group that I did all of that cleanup in. So there is all of the cleanup done. And I'll zoom into a couple of different areas. You can see some artifacts of the long exposure. Like you can see there was a person walking there. I left that there. I'm fine with that. But like the people that were standing over here, I found them really distracting. So this is with the people there, and this is with the people gone. And this is just manipulating the existing pixels and doing cloning and healing and, you know, removing stuff. Like this here took me probably an hour to remove this whole thing and that guy. I think I left the guy standing there. Yeah, I left the guy standing there. But you can see that's all with it gone. And oh, look, I missed a little bit by her head. Haha, good thing I was paying attention here. Let's do, oh no, I did fix that up later on. So it was quite a bit of cleanup, but it was totally worth it, and I love this image. And after the cleanup was done, I also did some color grading, and of course I did like my skin retouching, dodging and burning. You probably won't see, the dodge and burn is pretty subtle, but it is there. It's probably not going to come through. And then I made a curves adjustment to flatten the blacks out a little bit and give it a little bit more of a cinematic look. And then finally I added the gradient map to color grade it and just kind of give it a little bit more of a vintage aesthetic feel. And to also pull out the colors that are in here, that kind of magenta and orange of their, not the magenta, but the blue and then the orange. For some reason, I assumed you used image stacking to remove. No, that was one of the other reasons I wanted to use a long exposure. The primary reason was to capture the lights, but the secondary reason was to manage the foot traffic. There were a ton of people walking around us constantly. In fact, every time I took a photo, I had to tell people, because people were gathering around to watch us shoot. And I kept having to ask people, please step to the sides, because with an 8mm fisheye, even on my Micro Four Thirds, it's as you can see, it's a super wide angle of view. And so people who were standing what they thought was reasonably out of the way were standing in my shot. And I kept asking people, like, please step off to the side. But the people walking through, over that 2 seconds, they basically just disappear, except for small remnants like, you know, their feet here, if they were pausing or something like that. You can see a person walking through here. These people I left there because I don't find them too distracting, and I'm fine with a little bit of the environment showing up. But there were probably 20 people that walked through, 10, 20 people that walked through in that 2-second exposure right there. So yeah, this was a really fun. Let me show you now the other one that I shot. This was just of Erin, and this was at a different location at the El Cortez. She did a wardrobe change, and this one isn't quite as low angle as the other one, but I'm still quite happy with these overall. But I haven't picked the exact one I want to edit yet, so I'm actually going to go through and do that right now. Looks like Las Vegas ghosts. That's pretty, yeah, actually that's kind of cool. And hello to you as well, Bela JB. How's it going? We were initially going to try to play with the motion of these sleeves that she had on, but I found that didn't work for this shot. So we ended up catching a little bit of that, but you can see the progression of what I was doing here. First here, these first couple of shots, I'm just getting the ambient light dialed in. So like here, I went with, I think, just a 0 exposure as a starting point, and then I kept bringing it up a little bit and a little bit until I ended up here. Now this one I shot with my 12 to 40 millimeter lens. So if we look at the info here, you can see this is 1/3 of a second at f5.6 and an ISO of 800. And in this case, I used a higher ISO on purpose and a slower, not quite such a slow shutter speed also on purpose. Because that would be a good video, Mike, now that you mentioned that, actually. In fact, let me make myself a note of that so I don't forget. Let's see, notes and video idea, long exposures to remove people. Okay, got it. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. Maybe a little light painting. Yeah, and one of the variables that I had to consider in this is time. Not because like people were going to kick us out, but because I needed to get back to the hotel to go to sleep because I had a very early flight to come home the next morning. So this one you can see was shot at 11:20 p.m. I had wanted to be in bed at 11, so I was running behind, and there was more that I could have done here, but I got a shot that I'm very happy with. So once I had the ambient light set here, I wanted to complement the red of the El Cortez sign, so I set up a speed light. If I go forward a few shots, you can see it. It's right behind Aaron, and it's just pointing straight up, and it's got a red gel on it to light up the inside of this archway, this little walk-in bit. And then, yeah, that's interesting. The exposure changes slightly in the background. Oh, I know what it is. It's because I brought in the light, the secondary light on Aaron. Once I got that dialed in, everything looked better. So the final light in this shot is a light out of frame over here up on a light stand pointing down at Aaron. And I threw a warming gel on it because I wanted to warm her up and keep the warm tones of this shot in general. Hey, Nick, dude, how's it going, man? Glad you liked the shot. So once we got the lighting, the base lighting dialed in, the ambient lighting, and then the flash, the two flashes, the one behind and the one on Aaron, it was just a matter of posing. And the one shot that I really, really liked was this one right here, but we lost a little bit of her sleeve in the background there because of the 1/3 of a second and the wind moving things around. How you doing, Nick? How's your week been? So I kind of like this shot. We were trying some different poses, as you can see. I didn't care for this pose here because this upper arm here that she was putting up like this, it gets lost and it looks funny. Like it looks like there's just kind of an arm coming out of her head. I kind of like this because it directs some attention up to the El Cortez sign. But ultimately, I think the shot that we settled on, because we were reviewing them together, was this one, not that one. This one right here. Nope. I do like this one, though. In fact, I'm going to mark this one. I do like this one. There's a little bit of motion. You can see it in this sleeve from the wind, but I think that's okay. This one's got a lot of motion to it, and this one might even be better. I've got some thinking to do here. Doing well. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Again, with the arm up, I don't like that as much. I like this one a little bit better. So we've got a couple of them to choose from. So let's filter this out and take a look at just the pics that I have here now. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to edit this bad boy. Because it is an editing stream, right? I should do a little bit of editing at least. I mean, mostly we're just hanging out and chilling. So these are the three that I'm kind of choosing from. This one, these two are pretty similar. I like that she's turned her face back a little bit towards the camera on this one, but I don't like that we've lost her sleeve there. I could probably bring the sleeve from the one shot over into the other shot. I do like that one though. I like the arm up. I like the arm down too. All right, so opinion on you guys. Which of these three do you think is the best shot? So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. They all look great. You do editing on the stream. Haha, it hasn't been, yeah, it hasn't been that way for a couple of weeks, mostly because I'm talking so much. So Jason likes 3, Sandy says 3, Nick also says 3. I'm leaning towards 3 myself as well. 3 looks more dynamic. Macau Nutrition says 1. Mike also says 3. Okay, we're gonna go with 3. So let's do the edit. And this part here, again, this is not going to be like super intense. So I'm gonna bring that up, and then I'm gonna do some highlight recovery. I always like bringing it up a little bit and then popping in some contrast. In fact, you know what? Let's just do the Vegas preset and see if that works well enough for this shot. User presets, Vegas. Done. You know what? That looks pretty damn good. That's before, that's after. Now we do need to do a little bit of geometry here. So I'm gonna use this guided tool, and what I'm going to do is add a line here, and then I'll use this line here. Not that line. All right, I want to delete that one. Instead, I'm going to use this line up here. There we go. That gives me a better look. Now, I'm not going to, I could also straighten these 2 pillars. Let's do that and see what it looks like. I'm probably not going to like it. Oh, I can tell you right now I'm not going to like it. Yeah, no, I don't like that at all. I like the perspective distortion we're getting. I deliberately shot it low to try to emphasize that, to push some attention up to the El Cortez. Her arm pushing up to that helps as well. So we're just going to leave it at that with those 2 adjustments to straighten out the stairs and straighten out the line up across the top to give us a bit more of symmetry in this shot. I framed it as best as I could, and I think my framing is pretty decent as far as creating the symmetry that I wanted and letting this entrance to the Cortez frame her. So let's get this over to Affinity and get started, or continue. Ugh. Edit in, open in. I can't even find what I'm doing here. Okay, there we go. So try presets on number 1. Okay, let me do that. Let me hop this over to, I gotta close that image first. Hop this over, boom, boom. I'm going to actually just create, all right, let's do it. This is number 1, and let's go to the preset and let's pop that in there. And it looks pretty good. I would do the same geometry change. I had this on a tripod. Hey, Photo Finn, how's it going, man? How's it going? What is happening? I am going to check you out because I'm always up for people who are into cameras and photography videos, which is awesome. So I'm just looking at your channel. I see you got a bunch of videos about photography. That's awesome. We're going to have to chat. Maybe collab someday, right? Yeah, I like it. Might as well throw that preset on number 2 as well. And I'll probably edit one of the first. I like that she's looking at the camera here better, but I like the sleeves, I think, a little bit better than number 1. Could maybe do a head transplant. But let's get this one over to Affinity and get to work. Oh my God, he's so young, so awesome. Yeah, right? I mean, that's super cool. Hello, Andrew Can. How's it going? Thanks for joining. We're just doing some editing, hanging out, chilling out, having a good time. So cleanup here, I think will go pretty quick. Let me drop my pixel layer on here and switch over to my in-painting brush tool and set it to current layer and below. And what I'm looking for is just the distracting crap that, you know, like that little bit right there and that little bit. Let me turn my hardness back down. So, Photo Finn, tell me a little bit about your photography. What kind of stuff do you like to shoot? As you can see, probably by my portrait here, I like to shoot portraits. I like to shoot creative, interesting, different, whatever you want to call it. I tend to usually be a little bit more fantasy-ish, I guess you could say. Like, this is kind of a good representation of my work style in general. As you know, all of you regulars know, but when in Vegas, right, embrace the Vegas, and you do something like this. So I love shooting portraits, though, and getting super creative and just doing super fun and interesting and different things and pushing my boundaries as a photographer with that. Waiting on a Dropbox upload. You uploading a video? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, Andrew, was embrace the style of the city. So I think you just joined in. This is one of the other photos. I'll just pop this up again so those of you who just joined can see the other shot that I did. This is down on Fremont, again, trying to embrace that style of the city and the Vegas aesthetic, and also make it feel a little bit vintage. Raw vids from my editor. Nice. I would like to get to a point, I would like to hire an editor at some point for my videos. I had an editor, gosh, it was years ago, and that worked out all right. But I ended up taking the reins back just because it wasn't quite going as well as I'd hoped. Basically, and this is probably as much as my fault as, fault isn't the right word, as much as it was on the editor, but I found that I was still doing a lot of work and putting in almost as much time on the edit, even though I wasn't editing it. So I found, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to take this back for myself. And I haven't rehired anybody since. So I'm not seeing anything too terribly distracting that I need to clean up here. You can see there's a tiny bit of motion in Aaron there over that time. But I'm still going to go with it. I'm okay with that. All right. So that's super duper easy. Let's move on to I'm going to skip skin softening because there really isn't much to do there and just go right to dodge and burn. Boom, 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 boom. Skin. Let's get over to the dodge. Let's go for it. It's the hardest part for me to get up. Oh, cool. Just got a text from somebody who's doing a sunrise shoot tomorrow. Should be able to get some good low angle shots. That's awesome. So PhotoFin says, I like to do portraits as well. A lot of photography. I also love shooting cinematic B-roll. That's very cool. I don't shoot a lot of cinematic B-roll. I do shoot B-roll for my videos, but not a ton. Whoops. Andrew, film travel expertise. I'm just checking out your channel too. That's pretty awesome. I still have to edit some because of creativity, but it's been great having someone who gets my style. You just ordered one of my hoodies, dude? That's amazing. Thanks, Nick. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was hard for me to give up editing my videos, but maybe I just need to take, if I'm going to do it again, maybe I just need, I'm going to leave that there. I was just thinking about maybe trying to remove this min combo massage background thing, but that would be, that would be a pain in the butt. I could get rid of that double happy hour thing too. I might want to get rid of those. I should have taken a shot of the entryway without her in front of it at all. Okay, let me take a look at all of the photos here. Hello, Max's Motorsports. How's it going? Is photography your primary source of your income? I'm finding it increasingly difficult to find clients in Brooklyn, New York. So it is, but not exactly. Because what I do is I actually make the principal amount of my income from my YouTube videos and my photography courses that I sell. And the reason I set my business up that way was to free me to be able to photograph whatever I want. So I don't have like a traditional photography business where I take clients. I do some client work, but it's not something that I pursue heavily. And so I have a small portion of my business income comes from client work. But to give you an idea, last year, I think I only had like 2, maybe 3 clients. I don't do any stock work. It's something that I thought about doing years ago, but it turned out to be, ooh, this might give me something to work with. I don't like stock work either. Ooh, there we go. That's pretty clean. Okay, so I need to apply my preset to this. Vegas. That didn't apply. What's going on here? There we go. Done. This is going to sound terrible, but like I know how much work, how much volume you have to put in to doing stock photography to make a decent amount of money off of it, right? Because with stock, especially now with micro stock, right? If people are buying images for a couple of dollars or something like that, you need a huge volume and body of work of good stock to build it to a point where you're going to earn, a respectable amount of income from that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, Rick. I haven't even told you guys about what I did at WPPI besides the photography. So that's why I don't really go after stock. Is I'm not interested in trying to have to create that huge volume of work. It's a viable path that people can take. I'm not trying to poo-poo it, and there are people who do a really good job making their income off of stock. But because I'm already putting so much time and effort into YouTube, trying to pursue, yeah, exactly, courses are the better route. That's basically my determination. I shoot on the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II. This is my camera. And I love this little boy. It handles what I want to do really, really well. And it's nice and small, which is great. I love the size of this thing. And my primary working lens is the 12 to 40 millimeter f2.8 Olympus Pro lens. So I'm not shooting any of the quote-unquote big boys, Sony, Canon, Nikon, or Fuji. Sandy says, it must be really hard to get clients in the New York City area. There's probably thousands of photographers out there. I live in the sticks, no photographers for a 30-mile radius. Yeah, it's certainly easier in a smaller area without as many photographers. And being in a city is difficult. Oh, hello, Ray Van. How's it going? Sorry I missed your message there. Do you find anything interesting at WPPI? Okay, so while I was at WPPI, the one thing I genuinely wanted to check out was Canon's new EOS RP mirrorless full frame camera. And let me explain why. A lot of people, I talked about this already, I think maybe last Friday, I don't know, but bottom line is that camera is a full frame camera, a full frame bare bones camera for cheap, which I think is brilliant. And I've been waiting for a company to make a camera like that for years because I think that's market share that is being left wide open there. You have tons and tons of people who buy, whatever, let's say a Rebel T6 or something like that, right? For taking photos. And many photographers, sometimes ill-advised, feel a need to go full frame. And there are certainly advantages to full frame. I'm not saying they're not. But I'm talking, now here's the key. For the RP, I'm strictly talking about photography. In the realm of what I'm talking about, exactly, PhotoFin, exactly. In the realm of what I'm talking about, video plays zero role in my evaluation of the RP. I get a lot of people are like super upset that Canon didn't turn this into some amazing video camera that's full frame for $1,300. But think about it. That would be a stupid move on their part. It would be smart but dumb because of their entire line of cameras. to me, I think what they're trying to do is, yes, Paul, that will work to donate. If you guys want to donate, I would be eternally grateful for that. I should actually edit a little bit here again. What I was going to do is open this thing up. I got to close this image, open this up into Affinity, and using some of that background to fix up the other bit that I don't want. So open, and let me do this, and then I'll keep talking. Yeah. Ooh, I have to apply the geometry adjustment to this. That way it's going to be identical. So I'm going to undo everything I did here. And what I'm actually going to do is go back to the photo that I'm editing, which is this one right here. And I'm going to copy all of the settings, including the geometry adjustment. Making sure everything's selected, selective edits. Just going to do everything, spot removal, crop, everything. Okay, and go back to that other image. There, that's the one. And paste settings. Okay. And now we're going to open this up over into Affinity. Okay, so yeah, it's a super chat. If you want to donate, I would be eternally grateful for any donation. Stock pays if you focus on it like a business. That's exactly it. I've tried. Here's what I found for me, right? Like I am not I'm just trying to figure out how to approach removing this right here. And what I wanted was a clean area to work with as a starting point. All right, I'm thinking on this. You guys get to see this as it happens. So what I'm going to do here is do a selection, maybe from the door. I wish I could super chat. Do you do live streams on your channel, PhotoFin? All right. The challenge here is going to be this right here. The fact that this is over part of all of that is going to challenge my ability to do this and remove that sign. So what I'm thinking about here, all right, we're just going to dig into this and see what happens. I'm going to turn off these dodge and burn layers for now, and I'm going to come back on this pixel layer as a starting point and go back to the first thing I want to do is try to just get rid of this little bit here on the bottom. So we're going to do a selection, just a freehand selection of this right here. And then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm on the wrong layer. And we're going to duplicate it and then deselect and then go back and move it. And what I want to do is just move it over to help me cover up the bottom. So I'm gonna have to do this a couple of times. So we'll do that right there, and then let's add a mask to it. Empty mask layer, and then the brush tool to reveal it. Hardness, flow, make that brush smaller, and start revealing that. Okay, so I've got that bit kind of fixed up. Now I'm going to repeat that process. Let me just undo. Ooh, it's a little touchy right there. So here's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to go back to this pixel layer and grab my in-painting brush tool and just hit this little spot right here. Current layer and below. There we go. Okay, there we go. Is YouTube my full-time job? Well, it's actually... It's not really a side gig, Jason. I do have a part-time job. My full-time job, quote unquote, is YouTube. I work more than 40 hours of work on YouTube, and YouTube is my principal income. But I do work part-time 2 days a week at a museum to supplement that. So I would actually flip it the other way around, Jason, and say that the museum is my quote-unquote side gig, which is my supplemental income, and YouTube is my full-time work. But that is, you know, it's always interesting to see, you know, who is able to, you know, quote unquote, make a living doing this. And I'm doing a decent job of it, but there's certainly more for me to be able to do. Okay, so we've got one section of that taken care of. Now we are going to do a merge visible, bringing everything I just did together. That's going to allow me to select a bigger chunk here. So I'm going to, again, come through and just grab all, that was a bad selection. I'm just going to grab all of this, and we're going to duplicate it, and then deselect it once again, and then move it again. Yeah, I like working in the museum. It's a lot of fun, and again, you know, it's great supplemental income, so nobody, you know, no reason to complain there. I'm just looking at where I need to go with it. I'm going to go right about there. And we'll mask that up again. And I'm going to delete that merged layer that I just did. One would have to have thousands of images in stock, maybe like 75 to 100K per year to make like a decent living. Do you think you could perhaps make it your full-time job, or do you like your work now? So good question. One, I do like my work at the museum. I genuinely enjoy working there. And I could probably, not could, I can and am working to make YouTube, how do I say this? I am working to make it so that YouTube is the only income that I need. But even when that happens, I will probably continue to work that job at the museum because, again, I genuinely do enjoy it. I like the people that I work with and for at the museum. I get to do a lot of different creative things at the museum. So I don't know that I'll leave that job. Part of the reason I love it as well is that it's super flexible. As an example, you know, I can basically take off whenever I want. I don't get vacation from the museum, so if I don't work, I don't get paid from them. But, you know, I also have like the ultimate flexibility. I literally can, you know, just tell them I'm not going to be here this week, and as long as, you know, they know, they don't care. It's not that they don't care. Like I can't, you know, I shouldn't even say I can't. If I had to take like a month off, I could take a month off. Like I have ultimate flexibility. So it's really, really great. Paul, thank you very, 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 very much for that super chat and for that donation. That is incredible, and I very much appreciate it. I would like to achieve 100,000 subscribers this year, Jason. I would, but honestly, subscribers isn't, you know, the full measure of a YouTube channel. That's probably one of the things that is hardest to deal with and remember when working YouTube. So that is a number I would like to see and achieve, but it's not the only thing that I'm chasing with YouTube. Okay, so we're making some progress here. This is probably going to be a slow process, and there's some doubling happening, so I'm going to have to fix that up as well. My dream job would be YouTube. I mean, it's absolutely doable. I mean, obviously, you follow Nick, and Nick provides a wealth of information on doing it. You know, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert because, you know, I mean, I work on YouTube, so I know a lot about YouTube, but at the same time, like, you know, guys like Nick who literally study YouTube and how to make it work are the people who really know what's going down. But you know, the thing, Ashok, thank you very much for joining. The thing that I would say is you're starting quite early. I mean, I'm not sure how old you are, PhotoFin. But, you know, based on hopping over to your channel, it looks like you're pretty young. And that's a huge advantage for you because you've got essentially not all of the time in the world. Yeah, you're 14, right? So you're like by starting now, you have a huge advantage, because if you make all of the mistakes now, right? And figure out what works and start building on that. By the time you quote unquote need a job, this could be your job. And even if it's not your job, maybe it pays for you to go to college if you want to go to college. Some people may disagree with me, but I don't think we live in a world where college is necessary anymore for everyone. If you're doing a specialized sort of job, let's say like, a doctor, right? Yes, college is certainly a necessary thing, right? But you don't have to go to school to be a YouTuber. You can just be a YouTuber as long as you figure out how to make it work. I'd say that YouTube shouldn't be the dream job due to the fact that it could change at any time. Focus on the skills you're bringing to the platform that can make the money. Right, that's a really key thing. My primary channel is YouTube, but I want to diversify off of this platform because this platform is changing, and in ways it is changing to the detriment of creators like me. Now, I really haven't been hit by all of the adpocalypse sort of stuff because you look at my channel. I mean, it's pretty innocuous. I mean, I don't put anything up here that's really controversial. But what Andrew and Harley just said are exactly right. YouTube is the channel or the vehicle. It's not like the business itself. My business is my educational course products. And somebody asked up above, here we go. Sandra said, do you making your income on YouTube from ads or views or from the courses that you sell? My primary chunk of income is from the courses that I sell. I do make a small portion of my income from YouTube ads, but it's not the primary and it's not the source that I'm dependent on. What I'm dependent on is my course sales. And so I'm constantly working to try to improve my sales numbers to get my income to where I want it to be. Right now, YouTube is that vehicle, but the business basically, this is a nutshell setup, right? But it is YouTube to attract people's attention, and then I hope to get people subscribed to my email list, typically with a PDF that gives them valuable information based upon the video that they watched. And then once people are on my mailing list, I can mail them and I can inform them about my products. Now, I don't go for a hard sell, maybe sometimes to my detriment. Like, sales is hard because selling a thing in a way that is ethical and meets your own sort of code can and is difficult. But I've been moderately successful with it. I've got a pretty substantial email list, and that I've grown with the help of YouTube. And through that sort of process, what's typically called a sales funnel, is what my business is. But as you guys know, like, the money isn't the main. I shouldn't say the main. The money isn't like the only goal. My goal is to connect with all of you, all people like you, to create together, to inspire each other, to grow as photographers. Like, that's what drives me, and the money is a byproduct of all of that. Andrew says, I'm 24. What I wish I realized at your age is that YouTube is a search engine, and that searchable content is the easiest way to get views, but creative content does best and suggested. Yeah, and my stuff is basically searchable. The bulk of the views that I get comes from search. Because I'm young, D. Niman recommended that I target younger photographers and teach them. I think that's a really great idea. I'm trying to target younger photographers as well, honestly. When I look at my demographics right now, my biggest chunk of people is the olds, so to speak, which would be like I don't remember exactly the age range, but it's somewhere, it's like 25 or so to like 50 or 64 or 5. Um, in fact, let's take a look at my analytics and see. Whoops, I didn't want to leave that page, but whatever. I can come back to that. Let's look at my audience and just see what that is. Demographics. My biggest single chunk is 25 to 34-year-olds, followed by 35 to 44-year-olds. So from 25 to 44, like that's the bulk of my audience. And I would like to get a younger audience as well. So like collaborating with you guys, like with somebody like you, PhotoFin, that could be a way for us to help each other out, right? Because I could potentially introduce you to my audience and maybe they like you, and vice versa. How does YouTube know how old we are? Well, I mean, YouTube, Google, like the internet knows because we've put so much of our information out there. Ad revenue doesn't cover weeks of Starbucks. Jason, not necessarily. If you have a large enough catalog, you can make a lot. Yeah, I mean, some people make a ton. Well, look at Jake Paul as an example, right? Like Jake Paul, you know, and Logan Paul, those guys make a lot of money from the ad revenue. That's not their only business. They sell all their merch and they do whatever else they do, but their ad revenue is huge compared to somebody like me. Also remember that people can come to meet people in a like-minded idea, reviews of movies, right? Old man. Old. I mean, that was a joke, Jason. You know, the olds versus the youngs is the joke I'm playing off of. It's sort of like stock photography. As the library backlog increases, so does the revenue. That's very true, and that's what's happened for my ad revenue. I want to get my community engaged and do things like photo contests, giveaways, and fun things like that. I've struggled with doing things like that. I'm always wary about giveaways because giveaways can bring in people who are just looking for free stuff and not necessarily build your community. One of the things that we have just started doing, and this kind of happened organically, is I'm doing not exactly a photo contest, but every 2 weeks we're doing a photo challenge. And maybe it'll turn into, you know, maybe some sort of a prize will come of it in the future. But as of right now, they're not. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. As of right now, what we're doing is every 2 weeks we're going to set a challenge. This coming Monday is the deadline for the very first challenge, and the challenge was low angle, which was why I shot this photo right here. And the idea basically is that everybody that wants to participate has 2 weeks to go photograph something that fits the theme, in this case, low angle. And then on Monday, we're all going to share. I'm going to do a live stream with my buddy Mark on our Photo Blab show, which is Monday at 6 p.m. Oh my God, I'm not ready. I've been so busy. Sandy, you got to get your photo. And then I've got this really great tool that I found that allows people to very quickly and very easily share photos with us while we're streaming, and then we're going to review those photos and talk about the challenge. Yeah, we're going to upload the photos during the stream using the share room that I'll create for the stream. That I've found to be the easiest way for people to share photos with us for a live stream. I've tried a bunch of different processes that allow people to upload photos, and people always email me and tell me that it just doesn't work. So I wouldn't get people subbing, winning, and then unsubbing. You might get people here and there that sub and then stay subbed. But people who are just looking for free stuff, you know, they're not really going to be interested in your channel. They might be a little bit, but it's not going to be something that's going to give you the kind of value that you're looking for. You know, the real way to build your community and build a positive community is to be excited about what you're creating around, right? So you seem to be excited about photography just like I am. I mean, I'm not going to watch one of your videos right now on our stream, but you know, making videos about photography is exciting. And if your excitement comes through, that's going to attract people. I mean, a lot of people tell me that what they love about me is my enthusiasm and my excitement about and around photography. And my pink cat. No, just kidding. And then if you're providing that, and you're connecting with people, doing things like I'm doing here with the live stream or whatever, like, you know, that's basically what it boils down to is finding people, finding the thing you're excited about. Okay, what I'm going to do is a big chunk grab here now. I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. Actually, you know what I think would make more sense? No, we're just going to grab it and go. I'm like, I should actually do some editing here, right? It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to have to wrap this stream up in a little bit here. But we'll see. Yeah, you got to focus on what you can control. That's absolutely right. What you can control. Whoops. Sorry about that. I was trying to get that to go away. Here's the thing. You can't control the way people react to subscribe. You can control having content that encourages that behavior. Exactly. Oh, hey, RJ, I'm sorry. I saw you come in, and Shavi, hello as well. And whoever else might have joined. I apologize for not saying hello earlier. I want to give things away for winners of photo contests. Yeah, I've actually found that people, at least my community, right, like Sandy and Harley and everybody else who regularly joins me here, I think a number of people, when we were talking about this, if I recall correctly, said they didn't want to have a prize, like a best photo with a prize. Rather, the idea was that, right, this is what I say all the time: get out there and take some damn photos. So for me, that's what it's about. And for the people who connect with me, and for you guys, hopefully it's that as well. We're getting out there to take some damn photos. We're excited to share our photography together. It's not necessarily about being the best of the best. And having a contest where you give something away, that's sort of creating a hierarchy of this is better than that. And for me, at least, it's not about that. And I'm not saying it's about that for you, but what doing so creates that. And while there's some, feel goods for people who win, there might be some feel bads for people who don't, and that actually could create, a negative feel in the community. So, yeah, feedback is the best prize in the long haul, and that's what I try to provide. And Mark, my partner on our other live stream, is the same way. We try to provide feedback that is valuable and helpful. When we review or critique a photo, it's never about ripping it apart and making a person feel bad. It's about sharing our feedback to try to figure out what the person who photographed it was trying to accomplish and how they might have executed the photo to better accomplish the goal they were after. Very true. I don't want to push away those who aren't as good as others. Exactly. Just having my image reviewed is reward enough, right? That's what we want to do. Yes, love the energy you bring and your willingness to help and advise. And one of the things that I've also done that I don't know how everybody feels, but I know that a lot of people have commented on this as well in regards to my content. Is I tend not, and before I say this, Photo Finn, let me make this clear. I'm not criticizing you or anybody else if you focus more on the gear, because that's fine. A lot of people do that and are very successful on their channels with that. Shavi, we're kind of talking about YouTube and community development. We're also talking about photography a little bit, and just that's kind of what we're talking about. But what I was about to say is, what I try to do is not, okay, I'm looking for my edge right about there. Okay, that looks good. I try not to focus on the gear in the sense that I'm gonna here's the AD200, I'm gonna review the AD200, right? Okay, I have done gear reviews. I'm not pretending that I haven't. But if you look at the bulk of the work on my channel, I try to maintain my focus on sharing how to create better photos. Sometimes it's about learning how to use, most often it's about learning how to use a camera. And I'll demonstrate on the camera I have, but more often than not, I'm talking specifically about a feature, a technique, the thought process, so those sorts of things. And that is, yeah, RJ says too many gear channels, snooze fest. That's what motivates me. The reality is I actually hate making like camera review videos because, to me, they're kind of not boring necessarily. They can provide valuable information, especially if you're trying to find, a camera to buy or something like that. But like my basic philosophy is that all cameras are already pretty amazing, and you almost cannot go wrong buying any camera that's out there. And the same goes for a lot of different things. And the very immediate thing that you find when a person buys a camera is that the next thing they want to know is how to use it. Hello, Ultra MEC. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, I'm not great at reviewing things, and nor do I like it very much. I like how to videos. So we're on the same page. Like, that's my goal as well, is to basically make videos that help people create. So what I'm thinking about doing is just removing enough of the sign here that it doesn't draw so much attention. This section right here that is behind her sleeve, I might not worry about. It might look weird though, so I might have to worry about it. If so, I think I have a plan of attack, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Many times it's not better. With critiques, you have to point out the good and bad, but also the wise. Right, that's very, very true, RJ. And when we're talking about an image, it's not even like good and bad is often arbitrary, which is why, like, just taking an image, this is the thing about critiques, right? Like, I could look at a photo and say, I like it. And oftentimes I say that as part of the critique, but that's not the bulk of the critique. The point of the critique is so very much not about my opinion of the photo as much as it is about, like I said earlier, understanding what the person was trying to execute and being able to provide feedback that can help them execute that better. That's how I always try to approach a critique. I can look at photos all day long and say, yeah, I love it, it's great, and that is valuable feedback for a person, just because they may be looking for a basic opinion about an image. So I'm not downplaying that, but the other part is, I think, far more important. I read a few reviews and watch one or two videos from folk who use it in the real world, but borrowing one for a few days told me so much more. Yeah. Have you ever considered to organize a workshop, finding a good location, and teach people like me to take good photos? So yes. In fact, Macau Nutrition Association, I have done that in the past. I want to start doing that again as another component of my business. That's why I also have started going to like WPPI and PPE and other photography expos to try to educate there as well. Have you ever seen videos by Mike Brown where he just walks around and talks about his thinking process before taking a picture? You're very good at explaining things. You'd be great at it. I have not seen those specific videos, but I would absolutely be open to doing videos like that. I used to kind of do videos like that, actually. I did 3 or 4. I think I called them building the shot videos. I don't know why I stopped making those videos, though. I will explore that idea again, Louis? Is it Louis or Luis? I don't want to say it incorrectly. I'm sorry. But either way, I will look into doing that again. I still use the Canon T3i, and although I get tempted for things like new camera, drone, and gimbal, I know I need to use what I have. That is exactly the attitude, yeah. Andrew says, I focus less on the gear specs, but why I use it and why you might want to. Yes, exactly, right? It's exactly it. I'm back to tucking my kids. Okay, so let me talk about WPPI. Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate that. 2 buddy calls. Okay, catch you later, man. Thanks for joining. Shavi, okay, just saying, love your channel, so helpful for anyone new, photographers or professionals, and love you because you have patience, you are different. Thank you very much, Shavi. I very much appreciate that. Very, very much. So WPPI, let me tell you guys what, okay, we're just going to give up the pretense of me editing it all at this point because I actually have to get going soon myself. But you can see where I'm trying to go with the edit here. Oh, the model here is Aaron Pribble. Mike Brown does landscape like you do in studio with light setup. Ah, okay. So WPPI was great. I was basically at WPPI for 1 full day. I flew in on Tuesday. I was supposed to fly in on Sunday, but then we got hit with a literal blizzard here in Wisconsin. And the traffic was so horrible on the interstates that there was a 131 car pileup on one of the highways. And one of the other highways was completely shut down because, blizzard. Because, I lost my train of thought. Oh, because there were like 20 cars in the ditch. My wife is watching. She says, if you want to go do longer, I'm fine with that. Brewster and I are amusing ourselves upstairs. Okay, so I'll go. I'll keep going. Yeah, it was really bad. So anyway, I flew in on Tuesday, and I got there Tuesday afternoon, and the expo actually didn't open. I think, and my wife asked me this, like, why the heck would I have gone on Sunday if the expo didn't open until Wednesday, which was the full day that I was there. But I think they actually had courses going on earlier in the week. That might have been part of it because they have stuff going on like the entire week. So anyway, I fly in Tuesday. Tuesday night, we just hung out. My friend Pierre, who I taught my workshop with, Aaron, Kylie, other people, other photographers. And then Wednesday morning at 8:30, we had our workshop. Now, this is kind of hilarious. The workshop that Pierre and I taught was low light photography, essentially. And they scheduled our workshop as a photo walk, meaning we didn't have a room, as a photo walk for 8:30 in the morning. And a photo walk implies you're going to go outside. But we can't do low light photography at 8:30 in the morning outside in the desert. So what we ended up doing was staying in the hotel and going to different parts of the hotel and teaching our workshop. And the workshop went great. And then what I did is I went to the vendor floor so that I could network. I wanted to try to connect with people and with vendors and build relationships that would be, hopefully be mutually beneficial. And one of the things that was really cool was the guy who makes this Cobra flash modifier. This is a pretty new product. He's a person who watches my videos and loves the work that I do here on YouTube. And he actually saw me teaching my workshop, and he came up and he didn't like barge into the workshop, but he just very quickly handed me his card and said, "Hey, please come to my booth. I'd love to talk to you later on." So I went over to his booth, and we had a wonderful conversation. He was telling me about his product and how much he loves my videos. He asked if I'd be willing to review his product, and I am going to, because I'm excited about one very specific thing about this product. So I'm actually going to open this up and quickly show you guys this thing here. It's in the vein of a Magmod or a Gary Fong light sphere or something like that. And what we have is this here, which is a ring that goes around a flash head. Let me just grab a flash. Speed lights. Here we go. I'm just going to pull out. This is the wrong one. Oh, yeah, I want that one. This is the Amazon Basics VT 560. This is a knockoff of the Godox TT 560, right? And what you do is you put this thing on and you leave it on your flash. And it allows you to add this modifier to it. Hey, this is smart design. There's these little tabs that allow you to pull it on. Boom. Just like that, it's on. Now, MagMod obviously does something similar, right? Like you get a MagMod and you put your mag grip or whatever they call it on, and it stays on. But one of the things I like about this, thank you, Hun, for putting that link in there, is this is a small profile thing. So that's one of the things I was excited about, right? MagMod, you got these big protrusions with those magnets. And then the idea is you have this thing and you just, boop, it's this molded silicone and it clips on here with these little clips on the bottom. And it goes on really easy and you can pull it off really easy, right? Now, I will be perfectly honest. I don't particularly see myself using this piece right here. Only because I don't shoot in environments where I need something like this. I shoot in the studio, and in the studio I have everything that I need here. But what I am most excited about is this right here. These are gels, and all I have to do is pop this in here like this, and my gel is on my camera, my flash. And then when I want to change it, I pull it out and I grab another gel and I pop it in here and I push it in, and it's that quick and easy. I am so excited about this as a gel holder that I can't even explain it, guys. I have been using my jank gel. I'm digging in my case here to show you my janky gel setup that I've been using forever. Now this is, and to be fair, my janky gel setup is not like the worst thing in the world, right? But what I've been doing is putting Velcro on my flashes. You're excited, I couldn't tell. Putting Velcro on my flashes, and then putting Velcro on my gels, like so. And then, boom, I can put a gel on just like that. Now that works pretty well. And this has served me really well for a long time. But the problem with it is gel storage, right? Like this is my gel storage right here. And this is kind of a mess, right? Like it always takes me a couple of minutes to find the gel that I want. And these gels over time deteriorate. You can see here, like this one, you know, is starting to lose its integrity. It's got burn marks here, and the actual gel coloration is breaking down. So like long term, I've never been happy with this because this is just a mess, right? But having these, which are Lee filters too, these are super easy to organize and super easy to change in this thing, and I'm just super stoked about this. So he gave me this kit to review, which was super nice of him. Obviously, you know, he's got a motivating factor, which is, you know, he wants people to check out his product. If you guys are looking for something like this, I mean, this is sort of a mini review in a live stream, even though I'm going to do a full review video on this thing. The link is right here. I will repaste it, Paul, but my wife pasted it just a minute ago. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, honey. She's on the ball. There's something. What is this too? I don't know what this is. But bottom line is, I like it. I like it simply for the gels. But even without the gels, I'm super. Oh, I think this is the gel wallet. Oh God, this is the gel wallet, guys. Holy buckets! This is even better. Check it out, right? So this, and you just slide your gels into the little compartment like that, and you want a gel, and you just pull it out. He's got the storage. This is everything I've been dreaming of for a gel situation. I looked at MagMod. And this is the other problem, right? For me to get a MagMod outfit for all three of my flashes here. So Xavi, that is an excellent question, and I'm going to, if you don't have any lighting, if you don't have any flashes, this isn't going to be of benefit to you. But if you're talking about, you know, running around and you don't have like any ambient lighting and you need you're going to be using your flash, you know, on camera, like whatever, when I review it, I'm going to be talking about the applications of all of it, including this thing right here, and how you can use this. But the idea behind this is for run and gun shooting. This gives you some diffusion and softens up your light so that it's not quite so harsh, and turns it into a bigger light source. And if you can trigger, you know, you can take photos and you can do this kind of thing and hold it and move it around. Yeah, the black thing goes in the back because what you've got here, I don't know how well you guys can see inside, but the back here is a bounce panel. So it bounces the light forward through this diffusion material here. Yeah, that's exactly it, Harley. The back is a reflective surface. So, I mean, this is really nice. It goes on easy. It comes off easy. But again, like the reason I'm excited is because of the gels. The gels, the gels, the gels. And this comes with 6 gels. Comes with red, green, blue, and then half, quarter, and full CTO. Full CTO is basically just orange. How cool is that wallet? I was looking at MagMod, which I use 3 flash guns outdoors. All right, so my problem with MagMod is the cost. So I was thinking about, you know, maybe going with MagMod for my my gel solution, but I didn't like the big giant thingamajobs. And then looking at the cost, no lie, I did the math. It would have cost me about $1,000 to have 3 flashes and gel kits and MagMod holders and all the bits and all the bobs and all the gels and all the things so that I could have gels for all 3 of my flashes. $1,000. That's a lot. This full kit that he gave me, which has all of this that I just showed you in it, is $100. I don't know if you can just buy the clippy thing and the gels, the sleeve and the gels. I don't know how much it would be, but even so, for $100, I would happily buy 3 of these. Well, I've got one, but I would happily buy 3 of these just for the gels and the gel holders for my lights. That would solve my gel solution. That would solve my gel problem. And the guy said he's going to expand the gel selection for more creative colors too. So I'm genuinely excited about this for the gel application. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into the sort of mini review for this Cobra, but it's pretty awesome. If you want to check it out again, yeah, exactly $1,000 for elastic bands, magnets, and you know they're relatively thin. The MagMod gels are thinner than these. These are Lee filters, and they're rather thick, which is quite nice. So all in all, I'm pretty genuinely excited. I want to do a video testing out vintage lenses and/or film cameras. We'll love to see the review on it. I'm going to be working on it this coming week. I have a video already planned for this coming Tuesday. My goal is to have this video the next Tuesday. So that would be, gosh, I don't know, the 5th. That would be the 12th. That's my plan. This weekend, I got to work on getting ready for my tax appointment on Monday. So yeah, band by itself is 20, gels is 45. There we go, right? So $65. For a person like me who doesn't need this, I could buy the gels and the band. That's awesome, right? That's awesome. I love that. And the gels seem expensive at $47, but these gels are going to last forever. They're Lee filter gels. And again, I'm actually kind of shocked at how thick they are. I'm just trying to peel this little protective film off. But I mean, that plastic, I've got a micrometer. I should measure how thick these are. I will measure how thick these are when I do the review. Is there another film on the other side? Can't tell. Wallet is $12.99. Oh, so the wallet, okay. So they do sell it all individually. That's great. And if you didn't want to buy the wallet, I mean, even just having these in a little pouch of some sort will be easier to sort through than, you know, than my pouch full of gels, which is already falling apart. That's the other problem, is it like explodes out of here. Okay, so yeah, that was a really fun and awesome and exciting part of WPPI, was meeting him. He was excited to meet me. I was excited to learn about his product, like super excited. Just does it being thick make it worse as far as light going through it? I'm not sure what you mean worse. It can reduce the light output a little bit more, right? So, you know, this blue gel here is thicker. Let me find a comparable blue, right? So these are the same blue. Yeah, as far as light output goes, this being thicker will probably cut the light output a little bit more than this, which is a thin piece of cellophane. I would have to actually measure. In fact, let me make some notes for my review. So, number 1, Cobra flash modifier review notes. 1, measure thickness of gels. Measure light output change. I don't have a flash meter. That's where a flash meter would be helpful, but I can find, I mean, I guess I could actually just see, yeah, I should be able to see the difference. I'll figure out a way to measure the light output difference between like this thin cellophane gel and this thicker leaf filter gel to see what that is. So I will definitely do that. And of course, test for indoor use without lighting. And the guy who created this, by the way, light meter, thank you, Harley. Kim, our friend Kim has one, so she might be willing to let me borrow it for the purposes of that video. So I know somebody who has one already, who's local as well. And then I'm just going to do general testing as well of this. The other thing I was going to say is the guy who invented this, Paul, he's a wedding photographer. So obviously it's his own product. He uses it in his own work, which is pretty great. So, all right, I think I am going to wrap this up since obviously I've given up any pretense of editing. And I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit here. PhotoFin, if you would like to, I'm not sure if you're still hanging out, but okay, you need to head soon. PhotoFin, get in touch with me, would you? If you want to chat about doing a collab video, let's figure something out. And I'd be happy to. And Andrew, I'm not sure. I think Andrew said, yeah, he's got to go. I got to look at Andrew's channel. I'm not sure if I'd fit with his content anyway. But yeah, shoot me a message. In fact, here, let me just do this at photo. This is my email. .em. Shoot me a message. Let's figure out some way to collab, because that would be pretty cool. If you are somewhere near Wisconsin, we could maybe even collab in person, which would be super awesome. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for hanging out as usual. You guys are amazing, and I love it. And whoops. You guys are amazing, and I love it. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I need to get to my YouTube studio so that I can actually stop the stream when I'm done here. Oh, Vermont. Okay, definitely a little bit further away than I thought it might be, but that's okay. We can still do some sort of a collaboration the other way. Love the Friday Hangout. See you guys on Monday. Yeah, definitely, if you want to participate in the challenge, make sure you've got your low angle photo ready for Monday. Thank you all for joining. You guys are amazing, and I love doing these streams. I love pretending that I'm editing while I do these streams. And I'll be back next Friday with the edit. Mark and I will be back on Monday for Photo Blab with the low angle challenge photos. So I used the 12 to 40 for the shot that I was looking at, Ultra, but the other photo that I shot, I used my 8mm fisheye. All right, so yeah, I'm going to go. Make sure you do this. Get out there and take some damn photos, guys. See you next week, Monday for Photo Blab, Friday for the live edit. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. Bye.